Thank you for staying with us. And if you're just tuning in, this is Today with John and Helen. And even though John is not here, but Helen is. So our second guest is a child psychologist. And this morning we'll be focusing on engaging your children during the holiday, because this is third term, summer holiday. A lot of children are, going to be home. Some are already home from the holiday. But parents most times are torn on what to do with them. Do we register them for academic classes? Do we take them to summer school? And in summer school, should we take them summer school in their own school? Should they do sports activities? What should they do? Or even if I don't even have the funds to take them up and about the place, how do I begin to engage my children across different ages? And so that's why our guest here, she's the CEO of Brainy Educare Services, and she's also a child psychologist. Good morning, Eniola Olajobi.
Good morning, Ms. Bumi and good to see you all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Eniola. Thank you so much. I have, Fumi in her introduction probably asked all of the questions in one or two sentences. But I'd like to go from the other end. She's talking about what should they be doing, and I want to find out. Yes, expectations are high. They're coming on holidays. What should they not be doing? What are the no-go areas, for the children across the various ages? The younger ones, the teens, the adolescents, the youths. What should they not even think about engaging in?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that in answering what they should be doing, we will definitely talk about what they should not be doing. So I'm going to respond to both of you.
All right.
I would say that as children, we need to realize that parents should take certain important decisions for children. Well, what I see a lot happening these days is that the control has shifted gradually from parents to children. As much as we want to give our children room to take decisions, there's some very basic decisions and very important things that parents should take charge of. And one of it, of course, is how they'll be engaged during the holiday. Sometimes parents will say, okay, what do you want to do? Well, that is very good. It's important that we make this within a limited options, not exactly making it open as for a child to say, okay, I don't want to do anything this holiday. I just want to wake up, sleep, which of course might not be a bad idea because these children need a lot of rest, but we know too much of everything is bad. So what exactly should we engage our children with during the holiday? We want to focus on some very important things. Number one, which I think is very important, is family time. It's important that we spend the holiday period to bond with the children, to engage with them, and to help them to do some form of family activities. It could be a family project. For example, we could decide to build something like hands-on, or it could even be about storytelling. A lot of children don't know about their family tree growing up. So the average child today probably at best knows their grandparents. But what about their great-grandparents? Do they know them? Do they know about them? What do they know about their own origin? Okay, some children barely know their state of origin. Even when they know their state of origin, what about it? Can we visit maybe? Or at least even go on Google and check out what it is like today. Maybe go on Google Maps and see how many kilometers away. It could be a lot of fun exploring maps and having the children see how many hours it would take to get to their hometown, or what are the places they would come across on their way. It could be something as simple as that. But of course, it's an opportunity for family to bond because the children are home, some of them for 6 weeks or more, some of them for up to 10 weeks. And that's a long time to achieve something very important. Of course, one of the challenges that we have with children these days is too many children are spending too much time on digital, on screen, on computers, on tabs, on phones, on laptops.
Yeah.
So summer is supposed to be another opportunity to engage the children in a general detoxification of digital.
Wow.
So this means that we want to spend more time outdoor. They should go out playing. If they have bicycles, great. Let them ride outside. I know some of us are thinking, oh, my street isn't safe. It's a busy Lagos street. So you can actually put the bicycles, in the boot of the car and drive them down to a
A
recreation
safe
center.
place.
And these things do not sound as impossible as it's not rocket science. So we can actually just maybe go to, if you live in Surulere, for example, you could go to the National Stadium or have some of these Lagos State parks around in other areas of Lagos. Just drive the children down, or even the compound of a public school if they would allow access. There are some public schools that allow access to play sports and stuff like that during the weekend, and let the children just have fun riding bicycles and doing everyday ordinary things that helped us when we were children to grow normal and emotionally stable. We need our children to become more emotionally gritty and less vulnerable to mood swings and the likes. And one of the best ways to help during this holiday is to engage them with outdoor activities.
Okay.
I still have other things, but
Okay.
Maybe we'll keep them.
should I go on or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you talked about the parent factor, the control factor, which is very, very important. So I'm looking at this really will mean that the parents will have to create time. Meanwhile, is the children or the students who are on holidays, the parents are still working, So I'm looking at how that can play out. And then I'm thinking, okay, I have a son in the university, and I've already started saying to him, come, you like money a lot. You're always asking for this and this and this. Before you get home this holiday, I'm going to get a job for you, and just know that you're working for at least some percentage of the monies that you're always asking for. How does this come in terms of having these children or prepare them towards coming on holiday and helping also to contribute to the financial base of the family? What do you have to say about that?
I think that's a wonderful idea, what you've asked your son to do. Some of them may not get opportunity to get paid, but working in a regular workplace setting is a very good exposure, because one of the things that the summer holiday should also do is to complement what the school curriculum sets out to achieve. And of course, they need exposure for that. So going into the workplace, doing some form of internship, relating with adults of different age groups will be very, very useful and will help them to explore soft skills, their teamwork, their ability to follow instructions, pay attention to details. And of course, it's not just for a child who's in the university. Even children in secondary school should also be encouraged to take on holiday jobs. It will read, and of course, it's outdoors, so it fulfills that first condition of having them go away from home, away from digital, and interacting with more people. They understand visual cues better, body language. They understand how to manage their own emotions. They also go through some stress because they're not exactly comfortable. And that discomfort has its own role. It plays a very important role in ensuring that they're emotionally stable and they come back home at the end of their work feeling tired. Of course, they need to get some rest. And they also begin to have an idea of what parents go through going to work every day. So the idea of a holiday job is an excellent one. Of course, it shouldn't be throughout the holiday. It could be some part of the holiday, and after a while, they have an opportunity to also engage in some other things. But I think it's absolutely great idea.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, when Helen talked about the fact that many parents don't have time, but I also wanted to talk about the burden of the parents. How do you identify? So, yes, it lies with me to choose what activity my child should do, but how do I begin to identify which one is good?
For
So
which
it's
child?
for which child, and the ideal one, because it's the holiday. And many of the schools already are going to say, oh, they're having summer camp this one this. How do I identify though that this is the one I should take my child to? This is what my child will need,
Benefit
and then how
more
do I
from.
differentiate between all the other activities that, because this is Nigeria, people are going to do a lot of things during the summer holiday to target the children. How do you decipher that this is what you need, this is what you need, and you know.
Okay, thank you very much. It's very important for parents to pay attention and to look at what options they have available. I would personally suggest that if a parent is not available and needs to engage the child outside of the home by sending them off to a summer camp, for example, they should look for programs that have a mix of different things. So then you would see a summer program that, for example, says they're going to teach language class. And while that's a good idea, of course, this is also not one size fits all. So for me, for
Yes.
example, I may say that I've always wanted my child to learn my local language, and then I come across a summer camp where my local language is being taught, and that's going to be the focus of this year. That's a different thing. But ordinarily, I would say that parents should give their children opportunity to try out different things. So a summer program that, for example, would infuse some language class, that would infuse some sporting activities, that would infuse some field trips, that would infuse some arts and crafts, perhaps cooking and baking, maybe gardening, a variety of things. A typical example is Summer Camp Nigeria, which my organization is hosting. And this is something we've done for about 11 years now. And it's always been a mix. So even if a child attends this year and the following year, it's completely different because the mix is different. And this variety continues to help the child to grow in their thoughts process and in their thinking. So it's important for parents to give children opportunity. And if they can't get a camp that puts everything together, it might be a good idea that some of these camps are very short, maybe a week or two. So you might say, okay, week 1 and 2, you're going to this camp where you're going to learn about baking and cooking. Then by week 3 and 4, you move to this camp where you're going to be learning about gardening or this and that. And at the end of the entire holiday, the child would have tried out more than one activity. And it's also a self-discovery opportunity, because that's when the child will see that, oh, I love this or I prefer this. And for some of them, it could spark some kind of interest that would help them with taking career decisions for the future.
All right, I see all of this like the bulk of the success that we make out of this, it's with the parents, because the planning process, for a lot of us, we get so busy with the daily activities from the time the child goes to school and when it's time to close, that we are unable to say, okay, this child is going to be home for XYZ number of months or weeks, and there's a need to engage. Sometimes we don't think it through way ahead of when that child comes because of all the things that are involved. Of course, finance is involved. Most of these camps, they don't come cheap. Yeah. So I'm very interested in when you talked about the mix, because if a child, while on holiday last week, did ABC during the vacation, and this year you're putting the child through the same thing, so I'm saying the family, the parents need to really be involved and to think it through and plan ahead. I don't know if I'm right.
You're very, very
So you can get
correct.
them interested and they can
Yeah.
benefit, so it's not like normal. Once I'm on holiday, I don't want to stay at home. So I go and do whatsoever it
Whatever I
is.
want to do. Okay, my question is about, because now where everyone is learning about AI, tech courses and different things. You had mentioned earlier about taking children away from digital, screen time, reducing your screen time. Now, as a parent, or you have a teenager, you have someone who says, "Oh, mommy, I'm going to learn this tech course," or we're in the process. How do you now reduce the screen time? Because everything that he has to practice, everything that he's learning is on the computer. He probably tell you that he has to check up something on his phone. He's, and then it even happens to me. So I have a preteen. So every time when I'm saying, "Oh, this," you can't do this.
You've been there
He
for
will
too
show
long.
me his phone and say, "But look at what I'm learning here. I'm watching so thing on YouTube." And your hands are up like, okay. So
True.
how do you now draw the balance as a parent of helping them reduce their screen time to when they have to actually learn?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a real situation, and a lot of us as parents are in this, But I think that, first of all, digital education, digital literacy helps so that even these children themselves know that too much of it is not good for them and is addictive. So that when you caution them, they're able to call themselves back, and you don't sound like What's mommy saying? I don't understand. That's one. Then the second thing is, no matter how much time they spend on digital, it's important to take digital breaks. So if your child is taking, maybe learning to use JavaScript or Python or whatever it is during this holiday, it's important to check as a parent, how much time will they need to be online? How much engagement or extra practice would they need to do? And if they've done certain hours in one day, is it possible for me to expose them to some other things? Can they take digital breaks? Can I have digital free zones in my home? For example, you cannot take your laptop or your phone into your room. When you're working, you have to do that in the living room, or you use the dining area. And once you need to go into your room, you have to leave your gadgets in the living room. That could be an example of a digital free zone, so that the children understand this balance. And because even when they do know they should balance it, sometimes it gets overwhelming. So we have to help them with things like that, so that they understand that, yes, I've spent so number of hours. And then, of course, you can also make them have a, like, would I say, kind of journal or checklist where they can put the activities for the day together. Because sometimes they sit down, the plan is to work on their laptop for 2 hours. Before you know it, is 6 hours, and they're not even getting up to have a meal. But when they keep track of their hourly activities, it becomes very obvious that they're spending too long and it's time for them to get up. So I think that the balance can be introduced when we carry them along with the appropriate digital literacy, and then we put checks like digital breaks and digital free zones in place to help them monitor their own habits.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
think we've done well so far.
Yeah.
All right. I was just
Okay, yeah,
thinking
sure.
that perhaps someone just joining like 2 minutes or 3 minutes back, ago on this show, and she's saying, "Oh, I wish I had started from the beginning." What would be the high points for you in terms of this subject, engaging the children while they're on vacation? What would be the high points for any parent now who's probably just tuning in?
Okay, thank you. If you're a parent and you're listening to me, the important thing to remember when children go on holiday is to ensure that we keep their brains active. And we don't want them to have a summer slide. That's when they get back to school and they find it difficult to connect. So it's not necessarily by sending them off to go and do extra lessons or do the same academics they've done all year round. It's more about having them get opportunities to explore and to learn. And children would usually learn through play, outdoor activities, craft, hands-on engagement, talking to adults, getting a holiday job. Or if we don't have all of the time to put this together, we should engage them by sending them off to a very appropriate summer camp program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So without giving away some of your, because you had mentioned earlier that you run a summer camp,
Yes,
Nigeria.
we do.
So without giving away any of your own recipes, perhaps there are some people that, they're just used to just doing academic summer camps before. And maybe they want to do something different based on your advice. What are some of the things? So it's a two-pronged question. So for parents to look out for, and then also for the summer camp school owners, organizers of these things, what are the things that should begin to infuse in your summer camp to make it slightly different or totally even different, and also really help the children?
Okay, I believe that the school setting as it is focused a lot on academics, which is cognitive growth, and most cases also the psychomotor, which is physical. So I would say that one of the very important things that summer camps should infuse is soft skills, life skills, leadership skills, teamwork, things that are complementary to what they've learned all year round in school. And that's one of the things we do at Summer Camp Nigeria. And of course, they should do this in a way that doesn't necessarily put children of the same age groups together. So there should be opportunity for peer mentoring, where a child would have opportunity to be with other children outside their age bracket. Because in the school, if you're in year one, for example, you're probably going to be 5 and you're with other 5-year-olds, or maybe 1 year older, and in a few cases, maybe a year younger. But when you have an opportunity to mix with people of different age groups, like we do at Summer Camp Nigeria, I think it will really help the children to build on their emotional intelligence. And that's one thing that's fast becoming a lot more important, or at least as important as IQ, which is what the schools are focused on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. You just wraps it up nicely just in time.
Yes,
Thank you.
I know a few parents who have just been so engaged with, oh, I need to stock the house. I'm not talking to anybody here. Oh, my son is coming back. I need to
Oh,
stock the
yeah,
house.
because, that's the, like, primary
I'm
thing,
looking
because
for money to stock the house.
food is
Food.
important, yes,
And they
because
must eat
children-
well when they get home. So parents, don't worry.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
in
Yeah,
charge.
that's yeah. I like that she said that because oftentimes in this generation, we're so child focused, which is not a bad thing.
Yes.
But like the psychologist rightly said, you shouldn't lean so much like, oh, it's anything you want to do, just tell me anything
No,
you want
no,
to do.
you should take
No, as a
control.
parent, you must
You
be
should
able to
help.
step in. Like, I
Yeah.
know you need this, but you want this, but I, as a parent, feel like you need this. So
And
yes.
when you say you need this, you have to let them know why.
Why, yes,
It's
yes.
always the
Yeah.
why, the response
Why,
to why don't I want you to do this? Why do I want to do you to do this instead? The why must always be there.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It was so
Thank you. Thank
refreshing
you.
having you this
You're
this
most
morning,
welcome.
and well
It was
done with
great
your
being here. Thank you for having me.
well done with your summer camp. Who knows? I may just sign off my son up
Oh,
for
it'll be great to have him.
summer camp Nigeria. Thank you,
All right. God bless
Eniola
you.
You're most
Olajobi,
welcome.
and enjoy the rest of
Thank
your
Yeah.
day.
you. All right
Okay.
You
then.
too. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.
We will. Thank you. All right.
Okay,
We're
so
moving
it's
on.
time for Keep Fit, and then when we return from the Keep Fit, Farah will be here with her life lessons, and she'll be talking about having love for oneself, expressing love for your own self. Interesting topic. All right,
Okay.
so we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.